Hey everybody, it's me, your old buddy John from South Jersey Beer Scene. It's Tuesday night at 7:30, so that's another edition of South Jersey Beer Scene Live, and we got our first quad box going on here tonight. For everybody that's familiar with watch the old NFL, the best thing that ever happened on Saturdays is the red zone. So we have kind of the red zone tonight, and tonight we got a bunch of cool guests, and let's meet them. Here we go, quad box. We got Josh and Krystle Lockman up in the far left corner, and Greg Fletcher on the bottom right from Axe and Arrow Brewing Company. And then it's our old buddy Adam Mazzola down the bottom left of internet dancing fame and the Summer Swelter Craft Beer Festival. So, hey guys, welcome. How's everybody doing tonight? So tonight,
great.
We're going to start with the Axe and Arrow guys and girls because tonight's a pretty special night for you guys. It's just a coinky dink that it landed here with us, but it's your anniversary.
Yeah.
It was. It is.
It is. It's still your anniversary. Coronavirus didn't steal it all. So You're here.
Celebration.
The other, it's actually Krystle and I's 10th anniversary, too.
Oh, really? Congratulations. That's pretty awesome.
That's crazy.
That is. It's nuts. I said so. I've had 2 10-year anniversaries in my life. I'm doing pretty good. So we're here live at South Jersey Beer Scene, and we're going to talk a couple things. I know everybody's out there in coronavirus land is on quarantine, so we're hoping this brings a little levity to everybody. So Axe and Arrow is in Glassboro. They're on Rowan Boulevard, or affectionately known as Robo. Really nice spot right on the town square there. Really cool brewery. You guys have a unique brewing system. So I always talk about this. People are probably sick of us talking about it, but tell us what you guys do that's a little different than everybody else.
All you, Greg.
Yeah, it's all on you, buddy.
All right, sure. So we're doing what we refer to as an all-in-one system in which we don't have a separate mash tun, boil kettle, fermenter, and bright tank. So everything sits in a single vessel. We mash in with a mash colander, and we pull the grain out instead of lautering the wort off into a boil kettle. We boil it right in that same vessel, heat sanitizing everything right there, do all our additions right in place, and when we're done, we drop a pressure cap on it. We can pitch right into that vessel. Ferment in that vessel. It's jacketed, so we have absolutely temperature controlled fermentation. We can do lagers and ales in there, no problem at all. And then because it's also a pressure vessel, we can use it as a bright. We carb up and go straight to keg, so it never leaves from the time it's raw ingredients until the time it goes to keg for service. It never leaves that one vessel.
It's pretty ingenious. And when you go to Axe and Arrow and you see how the system works, there's pulleys and tracks and all kinds of silly things that you wouldn't expect to see in a brewery. And you guys have not tremendous big. You have a pretty good sized space, but for the space you have, you get the most out of it because of the system you have, which is incredible. And that leaves you guys a lot of room to be able to make a bunch of different stuff. And what do you guys typically have on tap? How many different beers?
We have 20 taps, and currently we're running 19 of them because one of them is nitro. And we don't want to crowd up during the current situation. Crowding up nitro beers is not ideal. So we're servicing 19 right now, but we try to go for 20 and hold 20.
And you guys do a lot of different styles, a lot of variety up there, which is really, really cool. All well received. I know that you guys do a lot of stouts, a lot of different stouts. You do some sours. I think you guys do everything. Is there something that's on the menu that you haven't done yet that you want to do?
We do have a cream ale that we want to bring out soon.
Yeah.
That's cool. And since tonight is your anniversary, what are your plans for when we get back to normal to celebrate the anniversary?
Well, this next Saturday that's coming up was supposed to be our anniversary party. We planned on a special double dry hop Axe can release. We got a canner recently, so we were going to have a can release, which we still intend on having the can release next weekend. But so live music. We were going to have invite all of our friends, everybody who supported us to come out and hang out. So now we're just going to push that to June and hope that this is all blown over by.
I will tell you this: you're getting lots of anniversary wishes from the Tom Renzulis and the Rob Callahans and the Gabriella Longenbachs and all kinds of people on it. Joe Markle. You guys can't see it. They're on Skype, guys. They can't see all the cool special effects I'm doing here. So they're doing that. So I want to talk to Adam real quick. So Adam, you've had quite a a little break here for the quarantine. And if you guys haven't seen Adam, this is kind of what he's doing. 21 of these as of today, I believe. Or am I wrong?
Yes. No, it's tomorrow will be 22, or tonight will be 22 after I hang up.
So you and your girls, and sometimes your wife, they all come in and do this little thing. We're talking with Adam Mazzola from Summer Swelter Beer Festival. So tell me, what the hell is going on with that?
So, in an attempt to have some kind of, I guess, normalcy, or I don't know, it's abnormal, but just to bond with the kids and do something interesting, we kind of said, look, what are the things you want to accomplish? Like, what do you want to do during this time that we're home? We have more time together. And my daughter said, I want to teach you a bunch of dances. So there we go.
I will say this, and I think you guys will agree with me. Adam's got a little bit of rhythm. I am shocked.
A little bit.
You showing Adam dance?
Oh, we showed Adam dance. Yeah, I showed Adam dance. Yeah,
I'll send you the link later.
Or you really take direction well. I can't figure out which one it is, but it seems to be pretty cool.
Yeah, none of those are my moves. The special effect ones, the ones that are kind of skits, those are all me. The Scooby-Doo one, the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, those are me.
All right, so let's get on to the beer portion of this program. So tell me what's going on. You guys have the festivals planned for the 15th of August, and you're out again at Total Turf Experience. And are they calling that Pittman? Is that Pittman? Or I know that when I put the wrong name on that, I get tortured.
The mailing address is Pittman, so technically we're in Pittman, but it's actually in Mantua Township.
Okay, it's like literally like right across the street, I think, or something.
Yeah, across the street is Pittman. Yeah.
So you guys, it's a big festival. It's very well run. You have an inside and outside portion. And how many breweries do you have on the slate for this year?
We haven't. So this year's been a little bit different in that we haven't really reached out and talked too much about it yet. Pretty much everybody said they were going to come back. So I don't know that we're going to lose anybody. So at least 50. That's what we had. We had 54 last year. I think total. That was including 3 cideries. So I would expect about the same number at least.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. You guys have a lot of different things that are going on there. The one thing that I do like about the festival is that you have there's a lot of camaraderie there. Everybody gets together and works together and helping each other with ice. It just seems like that of all the festivals, it seems to be a lot more, I don't know, and I love all the festivals, don't get me wrong. It seems to be a lot more upbeat. And I think it was like 171 degrees last year. I had to excuse myself early. As a fat guy, that's a terrible thing to have to do. I got a couple of beers and I had to leave.
It's in the name, and it's in the name, John. Summer Swelter,
and it does live up to that name. But you guys have it run really, really well, and a lot of the breweries showed up. And you had a big Jersey presence last year, which I know you're a big supporter of Jersey beer. I see you all over the place doing that. And is that the focus again? You're going to try and focus on that part of the thing.
Yeah. So the first year,
nice.
that thing. The first year we had a lot of New Jersey. We didn't get a lot of the North Jersey ones, but we did have a good number. Only like 5 or 6 from out of state. And when we went for year 2, we kind of said, look, we can get rid of 5 or 6 out of state breweries and fill that with who's opened. I mean, Axe and Arrow is a perfect example. You guys had just opened and came in right away, and we were so excited to have you guys in and get all these new guys on board. So it was a no-brainer to me to just go all New Jersey.
I look at South Jersey that has sections of breweries, and the section that is up in Gloucester County there with Axe and Arrow and Bonesaw and the 3 breweries in Pittman and Chuck Garrity over at Death of the Fox, like that whole scene, and 8 and Sand. You guys do a really, really good job of working together up there. You kind of filled in that area of the beer trail that wasn't around, and I think that it's helped everybody. So what do you guys expect as more and more breweries open up, and how has more breweries open up helped you guys with your business model there? If that makes sense.
No,
that makes perfect sense.
It's actually great. I mean, all the time people are popping in because they just came from Bonesaw, or they're going to Bonesaw or Wood or Core 3. a lot of times they'll ask, hey, where should we go? And, we can spout out 5 or 6 within 5 minutes. If you want to go 15 minutes, we can add in, Westville and Dan too. So it's great, I think, where we are in this little hub of breweries.
You have a kind of a unique perspective on this too, because you have a really good beer bar right around the corner from you in Chickies and Pete's. And I thought when you first opened there, and I think there was going to be another brewery real close in the vicinity at one time, I was like, man, this is going to be really, really tough for you guys. But if you make good beer, people will come. And I think that synergy you have with the restaurants, with the Varsity, and all the Chickies and Pete's, I think that's kind of helped both of the businesses there to make it a destination. Robo's turned out to be really, really well done. So that brings me to my next question. It's called Rowan Boulevard because it's right off of Rowan's campus. How many college kids do you guys get there? What is that like?
We don't really get any. Maybe 10%. I would. And the college kids that we do are pretty cool, really. So that was a worry, but 1 year in, I think I've only had to throw one of them out all year. So if we stick to one per year, I'm 100% fine with that.
Yeah, that kid didn't look anything like me, did he? Oh, my kids go to Rowan, so I was just making sure. Johnny, I'm watching. Greg, as a you guys went from home brewing to big style brewing, and you got this unique system. When you guys were looking at systems, I know it's different. What is different for you about brewing on a traditional system, like you probably learned on, unless I'm wrong about that, to moving to this system? Did you have to change anything you did? Did your recipes have to change, or is it basically the same?
I know you definitely have to make adjustments, and I started out on a traditional style system, but it's much lower quality. So I was turning out garbage beer anyway. But that's besides the point.
You have to learn that way. You take your mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. So then we actually stepped up, and one of the things we did moving into this was we bought a smaller version of the production system we were going to get, so we could learn on the fly in the basement instead of making. As opposed to learning on the fly here, instead of making mistakes on a large scale. But what we found is it became a little bit more efficient. We got a little bit better, whether that was technique or whether that was the system we're working with. We were just making constant improvements on that. So we found that we were getting better efficiencies and things like that. And it's just really working with the system you have. So I would say we improved a lot on that. Is really what happens.
I think the cool thing about your system is like you can bring in a piece and add exponentially more beer without taking up a bazillion places of space. You can't understand it until you see it. When we came in there before you guys were open, we did a podcast, I guess about a month before you guys opened. We were waiting for your ABC licensure at that time. I couldn't wrap my head around it until I got in there and saw it, which brings me to the next question. Chuck, over at Death of the Fox, has a similar system, but I think on a larger scale. Correct me if I'm wrong. He has a different kind of system. And you guys are going to do a collaboration with him.
Yeah. Chuck's is actually slightly smaller.
Is it? Okay.
Slightly. It's not much smaller.
But it's a 2-vessel.
His is just a 2-vessel.
Okay.
Still does a good job, but he has fermenters too.
Okay.
So, like our thing replaces that. But yeah, we were speaking about we grew kind of the same and decided to do a collaboration maybe 3 weeks ago, and then we so happened to get matched up in that bracket, together.
We're going to talk about that too.
Bracket. Actually, Chuck got hold of me and said, "This is the time." So that was a cool choice.
Hey, Rob Evans is asking, what's so unique of the brewing system that you use? And I think we went over it a little bit, but if you could just say one thing that makes it different from everybody else's, Greg, how would you describe it to somebody that doesn't brew regularly?
Oh, just one thing.
If you could say two things on Brewha, yeah.
Simplicity. It makes the whole process just a little bit more streamlined. Less vessels, less cleaning, less sanitation, less water usage.
Okay, that kind of makes it up. I think that it's no problem, Rob. We're glad you're on and asked the question. That's a good question. So I want to talk about this little thing that's popped up on the interwebs on Facebook. Brian Kiefer put together something that I didn't think he was going to get this big. It's the COVID-19 South Jersey bracket field of 48. It's craziness.
It's almost 2,000 people now.
I know, and it's all the brewery owners. So the majority of the brewery owners are people that work at the brewery. It is Pam Gordy, happy anniversary. Michael Lee's happy anniversary. You got a lot of fans out there. So Adam, I think you're in this bracket madness thing too, and I had to put up a big disclaimer to not make anybody feel bad, because I feel bad voting for everybody because I like everybody. It's horrible.
Yeah, the Woods are up against one another now, and I said, nope. I'm abstaining. I can't do it.
Well, the funny thing is that there's so many people involved in this that some of the contests are coming down to the very wire, and you have to invite people in, so it's kind of hard to stack the deck. And just some of the things that people are saying to each other, it's hilarious. Like Vince from Village Idiot is by far one of my favorite commenters on the whole thing. You know, he's stoking the fire a little bit, but it's a good, friendly competition. And the thing that I wanted to tell everybody, it's different in South Jersey now. There used to be a lot of bad beer around. And I mean, everybody was on a learning curve. But there's a lot of good beer in South Jersey. I mean, not everything's a home run, but everybody makes good beer. Right, Adam? I mean, you've been drinking the beer. I mean, everybody makes good beer. Like I say, not everything is great, but everybody has made good beer. And I think some of the reasons is that there's so many of you, you get one chance to make a first impression right now. So if you don't have something good, they're never coming back. And if they catch you on a bad day, they're never coming back. So when they come into your brewery, Taxnaro, and they have never drank a craft beer before, they're down at Robo, they just had some crab fries at Chickies and Pete's, they were over at the bookstore and bought a sweatshirt, now they're showing up in Taxnaro. What beer are you going to give them? What is your entry level beer over there?
An entry level, or like
what would you say? Hey, I like Budweiser. I like Miller Lite, or the occasional. I drink a Corona. As a brewery owner, what do you guys do to get people to try your beer? Is what I'm saying. They're going to come in here and look around. It's like, oh, what's this place? What is that?
That, and they're like, oh, I like Bud Light, and it's funny. Half of them end up drinking our sour. And then the other half, we have one that we actually made for my mother because she only drinks Miller Lite, and it's called Main Street. It's the only beer of ours that she'll drink and not turn her nose up to. So that's what we give them, and they end up liking it. And then, they get a little more adventurous, and they'll try like our Hellas Lager or, our Dunkel, or, so it's definitely our gate.
As a brewer, Greg, I know you want to do like this crazy, interesting stuff, but you have to keep this in mind when you're brewing beer. Do you specifically have a recipe that you're saying like, yeah, I need to have my Bud Light that's on this line so that I can have Mrs. Smith drink while Mr. Smith's drinking the double dry hop quadruple IPA? Do you have something in your recipe that's like that you would put out there? I see people doing this now, so that's what I was asking.
I think we actually have like a kind of a variety of those, but we definitely keep those in mind. That's what I think Krystle was just saying there too, is like we like to get a little bit of variety. We like to, there's a huge world of beer out there, so we want to cover a broad range of things too, without getting too crazy on things. So we have a lot of lights. The Main Street is that, get you in the door, you don't drink craft beer. We have the Squeaky Wheel. We've got a couple lagers that will come out again when we get back out of this mess, the Rhapsody, and those appeal to those like lighter beer drinkers. Even our sour range, we try to have at least a few in there that are not, mouth clenching, jaw clenching sour, that'll get that more wine drinker into the tap room and get something they'll appreciate.
We're getting a lot of comments here. Kelly Lockman loves you guys. Do you know her?
Thanks, Kel.
And Tom's adding that Bud Light sucks. So thanks, Tom. Tom is usually my wingman on this, but we couldn't get more than 4 people on here, especially with the size of my head. So we just wanted to leave it the way it was. So one of the things that we'd have done this past weekend would have been an Atlantic City Beer Festival. And we're all a little sad because that's our Super Bowl, so to speak. And I know, Adam, you have a great festival too, but it's kind of the kickoff of the beer season. Not that beer season ever ends. What were you guys going to bring to Beer Fest, if I might ask? What was going to be your beer?
We bought, well, first of all, we bought a whole new tent and everything. Yeah. We had everything ready. Tents, flags, jockey box, the whole gear.
emailed John and I was like, listen, our beer selection had some stouts in it that I don't want to bring to an August Beer Fest. Like, will we have the chance to switch them out? And he's like, yeah, it's not a problem. But we were going to put our s'mores stout, our fire caber. And in August, I just don't see that working as well.
Yeah, we have a lot of time.
But
I think it's stout season all year round. So and before we get too deep, you know what today is too? It's not only your anniversary. It's not only Axe and Arrow's anniversary. It is National Beer Day. Were you guys aware of that? It's National Beer Day, or as I call it, Tuesday. So, so what are you guys drinking? So, Josh, what are you drinking up there tonight?
Well, I actually just popped off a orange jumpsuit, Cross Keys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shout out Cross Keys. Love them, dude. And then I got Echo Brewing Caboose Juice. I'm drinking now.
That's great. Krystle, what'd you?
Because of this bracket, I went and I made a stop at Echo today, so I have some bitch mode, which was there.
I'll bet you do, girl. Adam, what do you got going on tonight?
I had to go rep my host brewery, Neck of the Woods. I have their Hawaiian Noises, which is a pineapple Berliner Weiss.
That ain't working, man. Good job.
Yeah.
Greg, what are you pouring out of the tap over there at the old Axe and Arrow?
Yeah, so I've got our own, obviously, because I'm still cleaning up in the tap room, but I actually am drinking the Main Street, speak of the devil, right now.
Yeah.
Got to keep it nice and easy when I'm closing up here.
Dan Hoover's a big fan of the Ninja Dust. He's telling us over here. So
It's good. My personal favorite of ours is the Arrow, but that's got a little weight for Tuesday.
And then I'm drinking Ludlam and Little Water Distillery's collaboration. It's the Double Polar Bear Smoked Vanilla Porter. And if I could, I just want to take a second to give another shout out to Little Water, who's putting together, doing a lot of work out there. Not only making liquor, they're making a ton of hand sanitizer for all the first responders and for a lot of people that need it out there. And I mean, I work in healthcare. My corporate office is literally sending me packets of hand sanitizer from like wherever they can get it because it's just not out there. So cheers to you guys, Guy and Mark and all the crew over there for doing that. And the beer is awesome. I mean, I love this beer. It's the last one. I know there's no more left. A little sad about that, but thank you. And speaking of Billy, we're going to have Billy from Ludlam and Pete Beta from 7 Mile on Thursday night at 7:30. The always interesting Billy and the always interesting Pete Beta. It should make for a fun night. I think we'll have to put the PG-13 sticker on that one too. So we'll keep up with that. So what do you guys? So we've asked everybody this when this unfortunate pandemic hit the United States, and we're getting really hit hard in our corridor, and it's creeping down towards our way now. We can see it, in the system that we work in healthcare that me and my wife work in. We can see that it's getting a little bit more crazy right now. What do you guys do? Like, how do you plan? Like, what is the plan for a brewery during this time? Like, I know you have to make it up as you go along, but what are you guys doing right now? I mean, I know you're doing takeout. We can talk about that. But what do you guys do with the beer that's sitting there if you have hoppy stuff or what have you? I mean, talk to me a little bit about that. Tell the people what you're doing. And tell them when you're open and all that. Now they can get your beer.
Yeah, we immediately cut down hours, obviously, because we had to be closed by 8. So we're 3 to 7 during the week and then 1 to 7 on the weekends. We have set up an online ordering system where you can order and pay, so that way it's as minimal contact as possible. With the new regs that came out, we have a sign in front of our door says, "Hey, hang out here, we'll bring your beer to you." As far as our beer set, I'll let Greg speak to that a little bit more, but we actually just put all of our dark beers on like a crowler sale for $9 a crowler, because
that's a deal.
When this closed, and yeah, some of them are like 9 and 10%. So when all this, we don't want 7 dark beers on our list anymore. So
okay. And Adam, you're going around. The other thing we're talking about too is that we're supporting local business. Every local business needs to be supported, the ones that can be open, your takeout food. I know that you guys work pretty close with the people that are working there for takeout food, recommending what's going on. Adam, you're big in Pittman. You have some muckety-muck job in Pittman. What you do something. I can't quite figure it out because I don't know. What is your title in Pittman? Tell me what it is.
So I started volunteering with the Chamber of Commerce and I was just the organizer for the Swelter. Mm-hmm. And this past January, I was actually appointed to the town council, the borough council.
Awesome.
So I am Councilman Mazzola at this point in Pittman.
And one of the nice things that I see, Adam, you do, and you do it quite routinely. Everybody does. Everybody in the industry. The other night you did a dinner, and I saw that you had bought several things from all over town, from ice cream. I think you had some beer, if I remember right.
I did from Kelly, yeah.
Yeah, some food. What are you hearing from the business owners in your town? We know what the breweries are going through. What are the business owners going through, and what and your role in government? What can you do to help them? What can we do?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the same story. I mean, obviously, you're trying to do what you can do as the rules are changing, seemingly all the time. So I think they're trying to get as much as they can out of the takeout business, out of the delivery business. Our shops are, they're hurting, right? The retail stores were closed. So we really are trying to support them with gift card sales and trying to push people as the Chamber of Commerce to buy a gift card now that you can redeem later, to just give them some influx of cash, just to help support them. I mean, the restaurants are doing, well. I mean, nobody's knocking it out of the park, and nobody's, year over year they're down for sure. But we have a good method, a good chamber promoting everybody and doing a great job of that. The one thing that Pittman has in spades, our motto is the small town with a big heart. The town comes out for their own, and everybody's supporting every business in town, and it's really been heartening to see.
Yeah, I think that we see it all over South Jersey and North Jersey, everywhere. I mean, it's just been a big support system. Hopefully in the next couple 6 whatever weeks it is, when everybody's back open, they don't forget about all those people. But one of the things that I think that we do forget as well is, you guys have bartenders that work for you guys that aren't working right now. One of the things that you guys should do, and this is just me, is that remember now that these people stayed open and they're giving you food, they're doing all this kind of stuff. They're not getting the break, they're not furloughed, which isn't the best thing in the world, but I mean, they're not home. They're there on the front lines. They're dealing with this all the time. When the serving staff comes back and the wait staff comes back and the bartenders come back and the beer tenders, give them a little bit extra if you can afford it. I know not everybody can afford it. A lot of us are still working. I mean, they're really, really taking a hit. And I don't want to hear about, they're going to collect unemployment and all this kind of stuff. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's really, really tough. You can never recoup lost money unless you hit the lottery. So keep that in mind, everybody, for all these service people that are out of work right now. I know my friend Tara Nurin is over there. There's a organization she's involved with where they're giving funding to bartenders. They're sending in applications and she's reviewing them there. Anything you can do, buy gift cards. What's what?
So one of the things that kind of ties back into this helping everybody in the hospitality industry is that All Together collab. So that's the whole basis of this, is that they want people to help not just breweries, the hospitality industry as a whole. So maybe I'll talk to Tara to find out what that entity working with is, but we're trying to find a little local, waitress or waiter who that's their sole means of providing for their family. We're trying to help individuals as more than
That's cool. That's cool. I see you can look across your parking lot and see Angelo's.
Yes.
Yeah, we've actually
we've reached out to a couple, but
and that they've been working here for 1,000 years. I mean, it just kind of, I think about that. Adam, we have a question from Brian Kiefer of the COVID-19 Bracket Madness Tournament. Pittman was Pittman reluctant to add breweries? I know it was a dry town, and I know they wanted to have some kind of music or entertainment option with it. And now it's the mecca of breweries, as we know in South Jersey, Pittman and Hamilton. What was, I don't know if you were around for this. I'm sure you were. What was the impetus to change the way that the zoning was done to allow the breweries, and as far as you know?
So honestly, I don't know all the details behind that. That was a little bit before when I was super involved with a lot of this stuff. I do know that we had Kelly Green, Justin Fleming from Kelly Green, opened up the first one. I believe was the first in Gloucester County, but he opened up in Pittman, and he was a Pittman high school grad. Had wanted to make an investment, wanted to open a business, and it's technically controlled at the state level, so it doesn't fall under a liquor license.
Right.
So it kind of got around the dry town regulations that we had on the books, but we had just that around that same time, by popular vote on the ballot, had approved Pittman selling a liquor license. right around the time he opened. So I think it was a little bit more the tide was turning at that point.
Okay.
And I think that's where it kind of came from.
I think, and Pittman has a big cultural spot. It is. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. The downtown is really, really cool. And I know Human Village, when they took over the bus, was it the bus stop or
Bus Stop Cafe? Yeah.
Bus Stop Cafe? I know that one of their things, and it's going to bring me back into politics, which everybody hates, all the brewery people hate. One of the things that, when she talked to Pittman about doing that she was going to keep that entertainment going, and she has.
Yep.
But unfortunately, these new state laws are kind of crippling her a little bit. And I know that, that was one of the things that was a draw there. So if you guys got a chance too, go see Megan, go see people downtown that you wouldn't normally see, that would need some help. And I mean, she did the right thing and, had this business plan that kind of got turned topsy-turvy, because of the way that the laws got implemented. So don't forget about the little people down there. Not that she's little, not that they're little people, but forget about these other breweries that have been around for a while that have had to change their business models because of, what the state has done as far as kind of putting the clamps down on everything. So it's pretty cool. All right, Greg, so what are you brewing next?
So currently, we talked about canning a little bit. Right now, we had been planning to start doing our canning. So we have a new batch, a fresh batch of the Tropic Thunder that will actually go into canning still because we already had it planned. So that will end up going probably this weekend in there. We've toned back a lot on our big production, obviously, like everybody else has right now. Next in the cycle, actually, though, we did do the Pink Boots Society brew, and that'll be out soon as well. That's going to be the next up on service. And then after that, it's small batch stuff. I'm playing around with the seltzer right now, and we got to see where this thing goes after that. We were planning on a couple sour batches here because that was going to be our next move. Is we're moving into springtime. It's time for the lighter fare. So probably our next one will be though that collaboration brew with Death of the Fox as well. And I don't think we're 100% on the recipe yet, so I don't want to give anything away. But keep an eye out for that one.
That's cool. And we're going to get ready to wrap things up. So we'll go to Adam real quick. If you want I say a lot. I can't help it. If you want information on the Summer Swelter Beer Festival, it's happening on August 15th at the Total Turf Experience in Mantua-Pippin, New Jersey. How do we find you and to get that information?
Yeah, so you can find me on the Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Swelter Beer. You can go to uptownpittman.com and look at the events and look for the Pittman Craft Beer Festival. We're constantly updating our social media. We're going to be on beerfest.com for our ticket sales again. Tickets aren't on sale. Normally they would be, but right now we're still trying to feel out kind of where we're going to land here.
And then if you guys forget, I'm sorry, I just couldn't help myself. I love them. I think it is awesome to see you and the girls do that. I mean, I think it's really, really cool. The fact that you're videotaping is awesome, and I give you a lot of credit. So good job, Dad. That's great.
And they're public, so everybody can go check it out.
Yeah, they're all over the place. I mean, it's going to be a movie at the end. I mean, I think it would be cool, like a Wayne's World type thing. I'm not quite sure how that would work.
Yeah, more like Blair Witch, I think.
Yeah, all right. I'm into that. Krystle, Josh, and Greg, congratulations on your anniversary. Once again, where can we find you and how can we order beer during this pandemic?
AxeandArrowBrewing.com/shop is our online ordering. And then we're on all of the social medias at Axe and Arrow Brewing or at Axe and Arrow Brewing.
And Joe's asking, your takeout hours are 3 to 7. Is that what you're doing? Your takeout 3 to 7?
3 to 7 during the week.
3 to 7 during the week, and on the weekends
7 during the week.
Okay. And you guys, if you can't get to their site, you can't remember what, you can go to South Jersey Beer Scene and just link right off of their site. Just go to the brewery tab under Gloucester County Breweries and just hit their logo. It'll send you right to their site. I want to thank you guys. This is fun. Congratulations on 10 years. Congratulations on 1 year. Congratulations on a year there, Greg. Adam, thanks again for coming on. It's always a pleasure to see you and to see everybody here, some of my favorite people. Keep an eye out, and I'm going to do an outro here, guys. I'm getting very, very good with my stuff, so make sure that you go to sjbscene.com, support your bartenders, support the people in the small business community that need you right now, and I'm going to say it as Rob Callahan tells me to say every week, it's brewery strong. We'll be out in 10. Cheers, everybody.
Very
Yeah.
strong.